Did the Marlins make the wrong decision with Brinson? Should Lewis have been given more time? Could he have added something? Platoon specialist against those lefties. The Marlins have not been good against lefty pitchers. We're going to dig into that, plus plenty of other activity and news and notes on today's Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins. This is your daily Marlins podcast with me, Peter Pratt. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at MiamiMarlins_UK. It's the Wednesday episode, guys. Please, if you are listening, hit subscribe to the pod. Maybe even drop a review. Why not? Tons of really nice reviews on Spotify. Thank you. Thank you to those that are listening, still listening, particularly those that are still listening. Boy, oh boy. A lot of people tune out on Marlins baseball in action right now. If you're watching, hello. This is my lounge. Welcome. And you can see it's late. And it is late. And you can see I have no guests. I've just finished a tennis match, would you believe? I've started playing tennis. I'm going to take my frustration out on the court. Working the power serve and volley game. I'm working on those volleys. So anyway, it's just me. You've got me. It's going to be a relatively breezy pod. It's an interesting time as a Marlins fan. Let's say that. Yesterday's game. And let's start there. And then there's a few other topics I do want to address and talk about for sure. Yesterday's game, though. Main headlines. Avi Garcia back. Avi Garcia back from his rehab stint. It was elongated for a hamstring. It was a real lengthy rehab. Not sure why it was so long. Maybe just giving him more time. I'm not totally clear. Nevertheless, Avi Garcia back. One thing that struck me straight away, looking lighter, very lighter, or, this is the other thing, or he's just got a much bigger sized uniform, and so it's not quite as skin tight as it is. But for me, Avi Garcia looks like he's dropped some weight, and that can only be a good thing, because Avi Garcia in 2021 was looking lean, delivered. 2022 Avi, big contract, fat face, no production. However, when you dig into Avi's numbers, it's clear he only shows up once every other year, and every other year is always on odd years. So in 2023, just punch it in now. Avi Garcia is going to lead the Marlins in home runs, WAR, probably double plays, but nevertheless, he is going to light it up in 23. And let's hope this streamlined Avi. I'm excited to see what we can do this next month. What can Avi deliver? Who's straight back in, straight in the cleanup spot, nowhere to hide. Didn't really deliver much, nevertheless. It's good to see him back. It's good. The Marlins, whatever we think about Avi, it's been a slow start. But we're committed. We're committed to Avi. So we need to see him. We need to see him turn the corner, whatever that may be. So Avi is back. Looking slim, which is great. Let's see how we can finish this year out. Final month, he's back in the lineup today. He's DHing. Let's see what Avi can do. Can he go? Can the big boys go? Wait and see. The main star, though, of yesterday, the main stud, let's call it out, Jesus Luzardo. Since this IL stint, Luzardo has just been sensational. And it's how deep he's getting into games now. It's like, it's all of a sudden becoming 7 innings is now the norm for Luzardo. This is getting into Sandy territory. Maybe not quite that far, but nevertheless, Luzardo was really kicked on this year. And I've said it a couple of times, for me, we're approaching this situation where is Luzardo now the 2? Is he? I don't know. I mean, Pablito's a stud as well, but this is really encouraging for the Marlins going into next year because Luzardo, for half a year, a third of a year of Marte, it was still a great trade. Whatever you think about the Marte situation, you have to remember the value that Kim extracted from the Oakland A's for Starling Marte was a great, great move. No doubt. Absolute lopsided win for the Fish. Luzardo now righted, settled in, and looks legit. Looks fully legit. And so I'm just excited to see what the future holds for Luzardo. But it's just been so encouraging. He's basically taken on the Trevor Rogers role from last year. Now we need to see, can Trevor bounce back? Trevor, this is a Wednesday episode, and this is happening pre-game Wednesday. Trevor will be going this evening. So back-to-back lefties for the Fish. What can Trevor do? I'm excited to see as well. I mean, for however bad this year is, and however bad it is now in September, and it is terribly bad, let's call it out. They've lost 8 games on the spin and not looked like winning any of them. So this is tough to watch. It is. But the pitching, we are still taking notice. It's great to see Luzardo. He goes 7 with 9 Ks. Gave up a homer, but 9 Ks through 7. You can't really ask for any more from Luzardo there. Pitch great. No doubt about it. 2 earned. And we're looking for something similar from Trevor. For Trevor all year long, how can you perform in that first inning? Can you get the momentum rolling early doors? And that's going to be the question. What can Trevor do? I'm excited to see if Trevor can bounce back, find a way. Again, another shot in the arm for the Marlins and the pitching side. However, as fans, we have to call it out. Like, listen, when we strip this away, baseball, you don't get excited. I don't anyway. I get excited by runs. You got to score runs to win games. And so it's all well and good watching these pitchers going, but if you've only got pitching and no offense at all, like it's just more frustrating. It's not actually that exciting to watch. We need some offensive action in the games. So as fun as it is to track the pitching guys, the offense at some point has to click, right? It has been so long. And actually, we're getting to a point now where most of the vets are back. I know Jazz isn't back, and I don't think he will be back. I'd like him to be, but I don't think he will be, based on where we're up to right now. Not clear where Soler's tracking to. Maybe you get Soler back, but you look at this lineup now. Are the Marlins almost like back to full strength, apart from Jazz and Soler? I think they pretty much are. And so it's very discouraging, the fact that this offense remains terrible, which doesn't give anyone a lot of confidence for 2023. It doesn't. We have to call it out that you can't look at this group and think they're gonna flip the script here and go on a massive offensive run. It just doesn't feel like it. And I don't know why. I don't know the reasons behind it. But the vets are back. They're back. The Marlins scored 2 runs yesterday, so we have to call that out. They did score 2. They've been four games in a row scoring just a single run. So in some ways, that is progress. Brian Anderson was the main protagonist there, which is great to see. And I think BA's been solid since he's been back. He's out in the outfield, and there was the good and bad of that yesterday. There was a throw from right field. Amazing throw. We know BA has got a sensational arm. However, we've seen it on multiple times this year since he's been shifted out to the outfield. He's a third baseman. Sometimes he doesn't quite get the routes, depending on whether you're listening in the UK or the US. Let's call it routes. Most people are in the US, so BA sometimes on the routes, it isn't quite right. Yesterday's game, there was, you can say he slightly lost his footing, but there was a Bryce Harper ended up with a double, which you go and watch it, and I've watched it back. I watched the game today. I knew the score, actually, by accident. I stumbled across, tried to do no spoilers, so that was a bit frustrating. But anyway, watching the game, Bryce's reaction immediately, Bryce is like, I'm out. Starts trotting down, head down. Okay, I'm out. I'm cooked. BA, he was playing deep. It looked like he was very deep. It was maybe like a no doubles defense, singles only, trying to keep Bryce on first if he gets one into the outfield. So Brian Anderson was deep. However, he looked like he had plenty of time to get there. Took a slightly odd route. Then, as it went from grass to clay or whatever it might be, seemed to lose his footing slightly, but he was only losing his footing because he'd misjudged the ball and where it was going to land. So he had to make a late adjustment. What does that mean? Loses his footing. What I would say for BA, this is the one thing on the positive side in some ways. if you watch it, BA never takes his eye off the ball. Even though he loses his footing and everything's going haywire, BA still laser focused on the ball. It didn't land in the glove, and Bryce ends up on second. And, Big Mean Gene rolls in and sends in the game-winning walk-off RBI for him, and one of the most stunning bat flips I've ever seen. No doubt from Mean Gene. The Marlins walked JT Realmuto to get to Gene Segura. Segura, did what he did. Dave Shaw yesterday on the show. Got to call it out. Tip my cap to Dave Shaw. I said to him, man of the series. He said, well, I could go Bryce. I could go JT. No, I could go Stott as well, he said. But I'm going to go Mean Gene. I think Dave, he's called it. Mean Gene with a big knock, walk off for the Phils, and they needed it. They needed that. They needed to keep the momentum rolling there for certain. The Phils were feeling the heat. You could listen to Dave yesterday and you could just sense it, right? The pitching's gone to pot, as he would say, which was sensational. So, BA, going back to BA, the Marlins are shifting him out to the outfield. He's fine there. His arm is fine. If BA's true value remains at third base, because third base defense is so much more valuable than corner outfield. He has an arm that can play out there, but really the Marlins, if they do decide to keep BA around next year, and that's going to be one of the main questions and storylines, as it is for many of the guys, then BA needs to be comfortable being at third base every day, because the defense has done. It was a little bit sketchy this year, and it's been sketchy in the outfield. Nevertheless, it's big for BA. I want to continue down this path around the ninth inning, because there was a few other things in there I wanted to call out. However, it's time for our first ad, guys. This is the only ad today that I have to read. So listen in. US ad with a British twist, and it's our good friends over at Built Bar. Of course it is. And, well, guys, I have asked this multiple times. Have you tried the puffs? If you haven't tried Built Bar's puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There is a new flavor. Are you ready for it? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough. It's covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite cookie dough chunk puffs. They have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Of course. It's basically all the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it, and it's healthy for you. They have 160 calories and a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. So, easy to do now. You got to head over to built.com to snag a box for you and your family. It's the perfect treat. You can use the promo code LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your order. Reminder, promo code, and it's a new one. It's updated from previously. So listen in, LOCKEDON15. Get you 15% off your order. And reminder, the new flavor, cookie dough chunk puffs. Sensational. What wasn't sensational was the base running from Luke Williams yesterday. Came into the game, pinch running, and JJ Bleday, 3-0 count. And Luke, 1 out, by the way. This is top of the ninth. Set the scene a little bit more. 1 out. Game's tied. 2-2. Bleday at the plate. Sensational approach from Bleday. You can't knock that. 3-0 count. Luke Williams decides to take off and try and steal second. JT Realmuto, Marlin killer. And actually, that's going to be a theme I'm going to talk about shortly. Around how it was such a massive day for ex-Marlins yesterday. It was wild. It was like the whole Marlins universe, ex-Marlins universe just came together and destroyed the Marlins. Not directly, but in this case, it was directly. Realmuto guns him down at second. What is Luke Williams doing there in that spot? Does anyone get the green light to run on a 3-0 pitch? Because in the main, and listen, I haven't looked into this in any depth, but 3-0 typically is a fastball down the middle of which the hitter takes it. So it's going to travel faster than any pitch that they throw, and it's going to be straight down the middle, and the hitter's not going to be obscuring any views, and Realmuto is going to have a full go and a full visibility, not having to worry about where is it in the dirt, none of that. Fastball down the middle, Realmuto's gunning you out. Luke Williams, what are you doing? It was just, there's only one word, stupid. It was a stupid mistake that cost the Marlins, and here's why. Bleday, next pitch. So that's 3-1. Next pitch, down and low. Ball, walk. You've then got 2 on, 1 out. Next thing is Miggy Rowe rocks in. Miggy Rowe hits a single. That single would have scored there 3-2. Marlins take the lead. Who knows how it plays out in the ninth? Maybe the Phillies still get the run and they tie it up. I don't know, but the Marlins, Luke Williams, poor, very poor. I've no idea why you'd go on a 3-0 count there when you know it's going to be straight down the middle. I mean, come on, fundamentals. I hope he got an absolute rollicking in after the game for that, because we saw it last year. The guys getting picked off at first and and that was the old storyline. Doesn't feel like the base running's been too bad this year. It hasn't. I mean, overall, the offense has been terrible. Probably not enough guys on base to actually be picked off, but I don't know what Luke Williams is doing there. And, at the end of the day, it's just poor. And then the Marlins, like I said, Brian Anderson, it was poor. Poor fundamentals in that ninth inning. The Phillies managed to scratch 1 run, walk it off. And fair play, it was a nice hit from Gene Segura. And like I said, a huge bat flip. Love to see it. So the Marlins drop another one, 8 in a row. They're going for 9 in a row tonight. This lottery is getting interesting, by the way. The Marlins are really trending in the wrong direction with this, 8-game losing streak. Some of the other teams at the bottom are kind of heating up. Like the Nats are heating up all of a sudden. Reds are doing okay. Like some of these teams are doing okay. The Marlins, in my opinion, I think I said this a few weeks back, good chance they finish as the 25th worst or best team in Major League Baseball. So there's a good chance that the Marlins have got a high probability of getting the first overall pick here in this new lottery, and a worst case situation of maybe getting worst case, it's going to be a top 10 pick, I think, for the Fish. So it's something that we're tracking now. Losses are wins at this stage of the year, I guess. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the ex-Marlins. This is wild. Wild. Because yesterday, Tuesday, here's what happened. JT Realmuto with a big play, getting that caught stealing there of Luke Williams. So big moment for him, Realmuto. Obviously, Sixto Sanchez came the other way. Sixto, not seen him for 2 years. Okay. You've then got Jorge Alfaro with a walk-off. Was it a single? A walk-off single, 2-run score. I think the bases were juiced, and it was a walk-off single straight up the middle. Pretty similar to a walk-off hit that Alfaro had in 2021 for the Marlins against the Giants early in the year. I remember it vividly. It was early in the year, the Marlins came back, and it was one of them games, and Alfaro walked it off. Very similar hit, straight up the middle, grounder, bang, but hard hit, and the Padres walk it off. Alfaro's had some big moments there for the Padres, and was rehabbing recently, bombs away in AAA or AA, wherever he was rehabbing. So there's Alfaro. You then get, and this may be even more wild, you then got a Mag Sierra walking it off for the Angels. They had runners on first and third. Mag strolls in, first pitch. What does he do? Yes, Alex Contreras. Yes, he does. He drops the bunt. Mag Sierra, perfectly placed bunt, gets the runner in. Mags gets to first base. Runner scores. Angels walk off. So, in the ninth innings, Realmuto, huge play. Alfaro, walk-off hit. Mag Sierra, walk-off as well. I think that might have been an extras, though, but not 100% on that. Nevertheless, Mag's doing his thing. Then, let's couple that with Sweet Lou. The Brinsanity is absolutely taken off in San Francisco. Only recently signed with the Giants. He's already hit 3 home runs. 3 bombs for Lou in 2 days. So in the space of like 24 hours, 3 bombs for Brinson. Go and have a look where that would put him on the Marlins right now. He's hit more home runs than Wendell. He's hit more home runs than, I don't know, Burdick and Lewin Diaz. I don't know, tons of guys. J-Ra, he's hit more than J-Ra because he's only at 2. 3 bombs for Brince in, 5 games? Insane. No, it's not insane. It's Brinsanity, baby. But Brinson, he was always nice against lefties. In 2020, he had that role. Do you remember? Brince against lefties, Matt Joyce against righties. The platoon. Brinson was absolutely fine with the platoon, and he did a job. He embraced it. He was a nice glove, a good personality, a good clubhouse character. Like, he wanted to do well. He played the game right. And I loved just the resilience of Lewis Brinson in many ways. Always have done. Got to hear and listen to him on Zoom calls. The resilience, the desire, wanted to do well. Fundamentally, against righties, he found it a struggle. Most pitchers were righties. However, against lefties, he can do a job. Now let's look at this Marlins team. This Marlins team is historically bad. I mean, I've said that many times, but they're historically bad against left-handed pitchers. And this has been a problem seemingly for a while, multiple years. But anyway, Brinson, lo and behold, he's in there hitting bombs off the Dodgers lefties because they've got like heavy lefties in in the starting rotation where they've caught them. The Brinson is hitting bombs. It's wild to see, and I absolutely love to see it too. Love Lewis Brinson, but as Marlins fans, it's so much pain to see that. Then as well, the icing on the cake, I believe Christian Yelich then hit the longest home run ever in Coors yesterday as well. I think like 490 something feet. Something crazy. So Yelich bomb. I don't know what Ozuna did. I wonder if Ozuna did anything yesterday, but here's the ones I know. Yelich bomb, Brinson bomb, Mags walkoff, Alfaro walkoff, Realmuto with a big moment as well in the game in the ninth as well. So, oh my days, there was so much going on there. And it's so funny how these guys can just, settle into new clubs and make it happen. Make it happen, and to a point that we rarely saw in a Marlins uniform. And that you have to ask yourself is why? What is it? Why can these guys go to other clubs, play in other roles? Is it because they're surrounded by more talent? Is it because they're being played in the right role? Are they, going back to what Joe Frisaro was saying a few weeks back to me, the Marlins square peg round hole a lot of guys, play the guys, find the guys, and find the right role for them to help maximize what they do best. Maybe that's what other clubs are doing. Maybe for the Marlins, because they're so bereft of talent overall, they need to force it. Brinson, we need you in there as an everyday player. Okay, it's been proven that probably isn't going to work. But as a platoon guy against lefties only, yes, sir. Why not? And in some ways, that's kind of where I thought Miggy Rowe was trending, where offensively anyway, where Miggy was nice against lefties. It's tailed off this year. Miggy's had a struggle offensively this year in general, but I was kind of seeing maybe, put Miggy in the Giants, or, I mean, the Giants is a perfect one because they love a platoon. Put him on the Rays. Miggy's basically not facing a right-handed pitcher all year probably, and he probably hit well against lefties and would do a nice job, But for the Marlins, he's asked to play every day against every starter, every pitcher. And, it's tough. It's tough. Tough to hit well. So I thought that was a really intriguing day. I also think a very intriguing thing talking about Miguel Rojas, and we have to talk about it because it's very topical on Twitter. Right now, it's the main storyline. Listen, from a Marlins perspective, like wins and losses, no one cares anymore. They don't. They don't care if they win or lose. We like seeing the pitchers go deep. We're cheering on some action, but really, there's little buzz about the Marlins right now. It's fair to say. Then you have another Miguel Rojas outburst on Twitter. I don't know what Miggy's doing, to be honest with you. I find it extremely odd, the fact that he's not been heavily on Twitter all year. But he's only appeared recently in a couple of times. The first one was linked to that players meeting and the reporting around that. He came on, blocked me on Twitter, blocked a ton of guys, I don't know, and then went on a few rants, and it was a bit weird. He's been pretty quiet ever since. Then seemingly he's decided to block fish stripes. I mean, who can block fish stripes? What the hell? Miggy's blocking fish stripes, and then he's putting up posts about, you find out the real fans when the going gets tough, or something to that degree. I don't know what Miggy's expecting. And I think he needs to kind of consider what the fans equally are having to deal with. The reality is the Marlins have underperformed this year heavily. They underperformed last year heavily. They underperformed in 2019, probably. They were rebuilding in 2018. Like, you've got to understand that the Marlins fans are not just going to sit there and applaud, 100 loss seasons. It's not the deal. So maybe Miggy's getting, some direct stuff coming at him. I don't know. Miggy hasn't had a great year. He hasn't. He'd hold his hands up. No one's had a great year. From an offensive side, no one has. So it doesn't matter who you are, you'll be taking some criticism. But I just don't understand Miggy's approach. He's the El Capitan, clubhouse leader, and seemingly has these Twitter meltdowns every now and again. I find it very odd. I find it pretty worrying, actually, that it's the professional baseball player wants to search up his name and find bits and pieces and start blocking people and then having various rants and arguments with fans on Twitter. I mean, if you're that worried, if you're that bothered, don't go onto Twitter. Don't bother. It's a zoo on Twitter. It's for entertainment. It's fun. There's a lot of people on there that are just having fun in their own way. And if Miggy's struggling with that, then I would recommend that he spends less time on Twitter, perhaps. Most players do. Like, there's from an actual tweet perspective, most players aren't tweeting. But Miguel Rojas, I have to say, what do you expect of the fans at this point? What do you expect? Because this team is terrible. And no one is going to sit there and applaud you and provide a participation trophy. No. That's just not the way it works, particularly on Twitter. To your face, maybe differently. And I get that. And maybe the fans that you see in and around the ballpark are nice to you because, of course, they will be. Miguel Rojas, El Capitan, you've done a lot for this franchise. Twitter, different situation. Your expectations should be set accordingly, in my opinion. And that just is what it is. That's the environment. Face-to-face, you can expect something different. Twitter, less so. So I'm very intrigued to see how things pan out for Miguel Rojas in general. I've still had my doubts, my concerns about the whole players meeting situation. We had that wonderful episode with Craig Mish straight after. Okay, things went a little bit sideways seemingly around that, but nevertheless, there's still a lot of unanswered questions around that players meeting for me. Why did Donnie do what he did? Why did Donnie come out, provide the information that he did? That was the start. That was the chain reaction element. What was the meeting about? Who was in there? It's all irrelevant. Why did Donnie do that? I just don't understand why Donnie came out and said what he said to the media pregame around this players meeting and all of that. That started it. Maybe Donnie wanted to start it. I don't know. Maybe he's had enough of Miggy Rowe. I don't know. But nevertheless, things fractured at that point with, in my opinion, Marlins Twitter and Miggy. At that point, there was a fracture created and it's never been rebuilt. And I feel that too, because it hurts when a player that you have spoken with personally multiple times, had on the podcast on Fish Across the Pond once before, and I'm a massive Miggy Rowe fan, always have been. You can go and search it up on Twitter. You can see everything I've ever said about him. And to have him block me, it hurt me. It did. I felt hurt by that situation because, like I said, I'm a fan of the team. I'm a fan of Miggy Rowe. And for him to get to that point, I find that worrying in some ways. And for him to get to that point with Fish Stripes, I find that worrying. I think, yeah, I'm going to put it on the record now. Kind of. I think Miggy Rowe, I think this is final year for the Marlins. And I don't think that's a bad thing for him or the Marlins fan base. I think it's probably win-win for all three of them. With that being said, guys, it's half an hour in the books. Locked On Marlins, Wednesday episode. Trevor Rogers going tonight. Let's see if the Fish can get a win. But I'll be back tomorrow. Sean Barrett is in the house tomorrow, so I will have a guest, and we will get into all of the action and looking ahead to a Sandy Alcantara start and celebrating Sandy's birthday as well. In the meantime, enjoy the episode, enjoy the game this evening. Be back tomorrow. Go Marlins!